Absolutely. Let's move on to the other headline about Lucy Letby. People may have forgotten because it's almost a year since she was initially charged, but she got another whole life order for attempted murder of a baby girl. Why did she have to go back to court again? Why has this come up again?
Okay, so a few things going on in this story. Great spot, Trisha. Thanks for sending it across to me. First of all, we all know she was convicted of, well, I mean, I just, it's the worst crime in living memory, isn't it? Since the Moors murders, at least, and God knows, didn't it go to all of us, thinking of how vulnerable we are and how much trust we put in medical professionals. What happened she was convicted of murder on several counts, but in respect of one count of attempted murder of a baby called Baby K, who subsequently died of apparently reasons related to extreme prematurity rather than anything to do with Letby's attempt to kill her. Anyway, a jury could not decide on that single count of attempted murder. And a retrial in the event of a hung jury, it's something that the prosecution have a right to ask for on up to 2 occasions. It's rare for them to ask it twice. The idea of retrials, I think I've said it before when we've been talking, generally speaking, not specifically, but it's one that I find not particularly attractive, because thinking about it, what about double jeopardy? What about the right to be presumed innocent, and them coming back to you for a second? I've never been a great fan of the second bite of the cherry, but I think that we do have to trust in the jury verdict on this occasion. I have no doubt whatsoever about the jury's verdicts on these particular on these particular facts in respect of the attempted murder, or indeed the others. There have been a lot of armchair lawyers. Every time I post one of our interviews about Lucy Letby on social media, you get all the crackpots coming out. Sometimes colleagues of hers, or people who say they were colleagues of hers, saying, oh, well, the evidence was circumstantial. Well, I tell you what, there is no way that she didn't commit those murders. And anyone who looks carefully at the evidence can see that. A lot was made of her failure to attend sentence. Do you remember that? I think we talked about it. And there was a lawful account, wasn't there? Well, she attended...
sorry to interrupt that. And if she's already got a whole life sentence, what difference does it make being given another whole life sentence?
Good question, because it's a lot of public money, isn't it? She's been represented by Ben Myers on legal aid, Casey, and solicitors and all that, the cost of the prosecution in the investigation. But if you ask the family about the trauma they went through, you ask all the other families, we know that she was trying to appeal, don't we? Well, isn't it important that all doors are closed? I think also that there is a point at which the price of justice, well, it's priceless. There's a point at which the price of justice is immeasurable. And I actually think that in these circumstances, not just for the families, or the family in this case, who must have gone through great trauma before finding out eventually that the cause of death was unlikely to have been Lucy Letby's action. But imagine that, imagine knowing about that, imagine all of that coming back, that doubt, that thinking that you could have gone to another hospital, whatever. You can speculate, but you can't live it unless you're in that situation. I think it's right, and you've heard me say it before, justice should be seen to be done, and it should be seen to be done in all cases. I think there was one nice cathartic moment, because you remember that she didn't attend for the sentencing comments. Nick Johnson Casey in trial 2, who was also the prosecutor in trial 1. So in this latest trial, he made her listen to them because he read them out during the normal court proceedings, or part of them. Legally meaningless, but what a nice cathartic moment. That must have been nice for the families, or soothing, perhaps is a better word, for the families to read about, to hear about afterwards, that finally she'd been made to listen to the awfulness of her crimes without avoiding.